The last couple days in Marvel Snap have been truly remarkable. We had Scar come out, and now we have Caiera. Caiera is a fantastic card, one of my most anticipated cards of the season. I gave it 5 stars on the Snapchat, and now this video is all about Caiera and whether or not you should be getting Caiera yourself. Now, right off the bat, the Spotlight Cash Week is particularly strong. If you don't have High Evo, you gotta roll for it, right? High Evo is absolutely fantastic, and Nebula is probably one of the most slept on cards in Marvel Snap as a whole, both of which actually work with Caiera. So if you get Caiera, High Evo, and Nebula, you're essentially getting major components to one specific deck, which is the new High Evolutionary deck, which we'll talk about, which utilizes more 1-drops than traditional because of the ability to protect them with Caiera. A lot of really interesting things are happening in the meta. From a win rate perspective, she's currently running a 60% win rate, which is remarkable. Now, bear in mind there's some bot inflation at the start of the season, but it's actually 3% higher than that of Scar. Scar running a 57 to 58%, Caiera at like 60, 61. Truly remarkable impact on the meta. Additionally, Caiera is being slotted into many different decks. Blob Thanos, High Evolutionary, and of course Zoo, which is a very common kind of utilization of Caiera, although it might be a little bit of copium right now because I think that Zoo still has its own problems and Caiera doesn't necessarily resolve that. So regardless, should you be getting Caiera right off the top? I think Caiera is an absolutely fantastic card. I really do. 6,000 tokens and Spotlight keys. I mean, it all depends on what your situation is with your resources, but I think this is going to be a relatively good card moving forward for a long time. I think that it's going to be a splash into many different decks, but at the same time, it does feel occasionally cuttable. Like if you're playing Zoo and you're like, well, I'm protecting myself from Killmonger, well, like you're literally putting one card in just to counter one other card. It has other advantages too, like you're able to play into Death Domains and stuff like that. But realistically, you're using Caiera just to stop Killmonger? That kind of feels bad. I actually found it a little more useful to prevent Shang-Chi in some of the Evo decks when I would sneak out She-Hulks and stuff early, or even Hulks with like a Project Pegasus. And then Caiera would give me that confidence saying that that Hulk cannot get Shang-Chi'd. So it works on both sides. We often thought about it as a Zoo card, but realistically, I found it very useful in protecting my 6-drops, right? And you're going to see in the gameplay highlights I'm going to be showcasing that like it really does do a remarkable job at like protecting those cards in really unique ways sometimes. So Caiera as a whole gets my recommendation 100%. I think it's a great card. Statistics are backing it up early as being a great card. And hopefully it does help elevate Zoo a little bit. I had a ton of fun playing Zoo, but still Zoo will not like effectively compete against something like a Blob, right? So there are some challenges still with Zoo that needs to be resolved. So let's talk some decks for Caiera here. So let's talk Zoo first, okay? So I've been experimenting with a couple different Zoo lists. So these are brews, so you know, take it from what you will. But this is the Caiera New Zoo brew that I had done. The idea of using Bast with Warlock to draw into as many cheap cards as you could, and then basically use Caiera to protect your 1-drops with Coccia and Blue Marvel. Now, the one thing that's worth noting here is although Shadowkin got a lot of value, I felt like Dazzler was often a miss in this deck, and I think that the most optimal version of this deck probably cuts Dazzler and maybe even Shauna. Neither of those two cards felt particularly good, and neither went vertical enough to really make them feel worth it. So this deck, although fun, isn't probably something you'd want to take into an Infinite Conquest. And again, this is where like Shauna and Dazzler should shine, but they just didn't, right? Martyr, however, felt pretty decent. It was a big body once you consider Kazar and Blue Marvel, so I actually really did like it, although of course in this particular deck it's susceptible to getting basted, but it was the risk I wanted to take with the Warlock. So this was a bit of a fun brew I did. It was okay. Now, when we talk about actual zooing, I found this deck to be a little more successful. Again, still trying the Dazzler and Shauna, which I'm not 100% sold on, but I was also running Goose and Storm. The reason why I like this is because you can use Echo to prevent the Miss Marvel mid, you use Storm on the left or right, and then you basically use Goose on the left or right, and your opponent is like, they're locked out of the Storm location, they can't play a big card in the Goose location, and now you're able to favorably trade with your smaller cards. Blocking out their larger plays on turn 5 and 6 allow your smaller cards, especially when buffed by Kazar and Blue Marvel, to actually trade more effectively. I really liked this deck, and I think that this has the shell of what is going to be a good competitive Zoo deck, but again, it's Dazzler and Shauna that felt off. If Dazzler and Shauna were 3/3s, ironically, I feel like the deck would be a lot stronger. That extra power would make such a big difference, but they're not. And the negative impact of Shauna occasionally giving you a hood and stuff like that is felt, or even giving you a 0, and then you're like, well, now I got Blue Marvel, what am I going to do, right? So I do think that Shauna and Dazzler are still a bit of hopium and copium to be honest with you. And I think that at the end of the day, they're probably going to get cut for better pieces, even Shang-Chi, for instance, right? Which could make this deck better. But this is what I experimented with. I think this shell is actually low-key pretty good. It's, again, the Dazzler and Shauna I wasn't necessarily sold on. Let's talk about High Evolutionary. Two versions. The first was this new Zooey version of Caiera High Evo. The idea of, again, this is a brew, but the idea of using, I mean, it's not that much of a brew. I made a couple changes to what is already a very stock list. But essentially, you are running the Sunspot, the Nebula, and the Misty Knight. Caiera in as well. I'm still running Leech, Infinite, Hulk, and the She-Hulk as well. It's essentially a list that's, I mean, it's going to be the Evo-based list, but you're adding more aggressively to the 1-drops, knowing that you can protect them with the Caiera. And also, Caiera is useful protecting She-Hulk and the Hulk as well. So ultimately, I liked it. I actually enjoyed playing Shocker in this deck as well, because I felt like having that extra power, the extra energy taken off one of a card that you could play and then float energy more effectively was useful. Even if it hit something like a Leech, you play Leech on turn 5, you're still floating energy, proccing the Misty Knight, proccing the Sunspot, giving your Hulk a +2. So like there's all these small things. Of course, the Cyclops. That I think Shocker was actually pretty good in this deck, especially since you're running all these ones and you're often kind of, you know, milling through your hand a little bit. It's also notable that if you ever hit the the She-Hulk with Shocker, that means you can skip turn 5 without magic and actually play both the Hulk and the She-Not, or the Infinite and the She-Hulk, right? So you can play them because it gets discounted by 1. The She-Hulk gets discounted by 1, so you only have to float 5 energy to get it for free, which is very notable. Really like this deck. Clean Evo deck. It was totally fine. Now this one here is basically your debuff Evo. I've been playing a ton of debuff Evo. I actually was trying to put in the Spiderwoman into this deck. However, statistically on Untapped, you actually saw a higher win rate with the Enchantress right now, given the amount of Miss Marvel and the amount of Darkhawk actually as well. So my version was actually running the Spiderwoman, and this version is actually running the Enchantress. So I checked into Untapped, I saw that this version actually has a couple % win rate higher, so I'm including this for you guys so you guys can take a look at it. Enchantress over Spiderwoman, but I tend to like the debuff side for that greedier play, but anyways, statistics don't lie. This is the better version of Caiera Debuff Evo right now, so I thought I would showcase it to you. I do like it a lot. I'll never argue against Debuff Evo. Again, High Evo, one of my absolute favorite archetypes in the game, but this is currently the one leading the way. You could even cut the Enchantress, add Nebula, and see what happens. I think that if you're running Caiera, I feel like Nebula is a good add-on as well. One thing worth noting for anybody that might be new to High Evo is it's really good to play Nebula with Cyclops, because what happens is that when you play Nebula and Cyclops together, they effectively force players to play into the Cyclops location, which allows you to make better use of the Cyclops debuff, okay? So then we have here, this is straight from Untapped here. This was the highest win rate version of the Caiera Thanos shell. You are seeing the Blob Thanos version with Scar, Caiera as well. This one here is running Blue Marvel, which is what we talked about on the Snapchat. I felt that Caiera would elevate Blue Marvel in these decks because it helps protect and gain additional value from your Soul Stone and all the other stones as well, but specifically the Power Stone, the Soul Stone, and the ones that generate the most value on the board. So what you have here as well is the Devil Dinosaur combination with Blob, Magneto for the disruption of the Miss Marvels, and ultimately it's just a very good shell. The decks I played with with Caiera ultimately were really successful. Really like the card. I think that the card is really good. I tend to prefer this kind of like more 1-drop centric Evo deck if you're going to want to experiment a little bit, but again, time will tell statistically which one is the best. As for my recommendation, I definitely do think Caiera is definitely worth getting. I think it's a very strong card. 6,000 tokens is expensive, make no mistake. But if you have Spotlight Cash keys, it's definitely worth rolling this week, as you're basically getting an entire archetype almost in the new Evolutionary, because I do think the new Evo is pretty much going to always run Caiera because of its ability to protect your 6-drops and your 1-drops as well. Guys, thank you so much. We have some amazing gameplay highlights that are coming here as well. If you're not subscribed, consider subscribing. I would really appreciate it, and hit that like button if you haven't already. Hope you enjoy these gameplay highlights. Nebula into New York's good. People don't like playing in New York. This person's name is Dr. Mantis Toboggan. Ho, ho, ho. At least we're not against the bot. We've been seeing lots of bots lately, which kind of makes the climb towards infinite sad. Like, it's like, well, I don't want to play against all these bots. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, you don't want to play bot after bot. But you kind of have to just play. This is cool because you can technically skip turn 5 into She-Hulk and Infinite, by the way. Oh my gosh. Next card's getting 2 power. Oh man, it's the Disco Inferno over here. Me no likey. We're gonna do this. We do have Infinite and She-Hulk. That's a bounce. Oh, thank you for that, actually. Doesn't bother me at all. Here's the play. We play Caiera here, float, hit here, win here initiative. That means that we can drop something here and it'll stick. Boom! Caiera into Rickety Bridge. It's going to be perfect. It's going to be a thing of beauty. And the shocker hit on She-Hulk allows us to not play magic. Pew pew on Cyclops. We skip this. We pew pew again. Look at all this additional pew pew. Oh man, but here's the other thing. You could play She-Hulk now, Hulk next. You still float and pew pew. But I think it stresses them out more if we do it this way. You could make the argument for just playing She-Hulk now, pew pew, Hulk. No, Hulk could be 14, 16. No, 14 only. Skip. Not having Sunspot on the board feels bad, but it's going to be turn 6, and they're unlikely to remember Shocker got played, right? So yeah, they lose. They're not going to be able to... I don't think they can confidently understand that I'm going to be playing a She-Hulk mid. And where do I play this? Do I just play this here? Let them run? They never beat us here, right? And they never win here because whatever it is gets destroyed. So I think we just let them move cards. Yeah. There's the Jumperoonie. This is a thing of beauty, guys. This is an absolute thing of beauty. Look at this. Oh my god. It's beautiful. It is so beautiful. She-Hulk lands in Rickety Bridge. Does not get destroyed thanks to Caiera. Infinite wins the right. Great Web is so annoying. I don't know if we want to play Noor Dimension, honestly. We're going to end up with a squirrel here so fast. We'll have to see how this plays out.
Wind, aid my hand.
All right, interesting. I think we do this. We have Shauna, so we goose right. So this is the control element, right? Now, Zabu makes it so their 4-drops slide under goose, which is annoying. They go doubles. Jin Lad. So we need Blarvel to win that lane. We have to play Blarvel now. The Iron Lad into Professor X is kind of annoying.
Behold my mighty hand. Opponent snapped.
We have initiative. They snapped on us. They try to play Claw here.
Oh, snap.
We snap back. Does Echo just straight up win the game here? See ya. There it is. Huge. Huge. Huge play. Huge play from Echo. Oh my gosh. Absolutely insane. Insane play from Echo. Scroll Mystique gets destroyed. That's an initiative Echo play. And now they have a goose they're staring at. Oh, there's... Oh, you know what? I understand the frustration. I understand the frustration. Caiera gives us the most stats here. Could they still beat us, though? They can beat us with Jeff here, but if they're playing Jeff, I'm not sure what they're playing here to win. They might still beat us. Nope. And they're gone. That, my friends, was such a good win. And it's honestly, it's Echo. Echo coming down with initiative, destroying the Super Scroll Mystique play was huge. Look at this. You guys were saying, oh, get rid of Adam Warlock. Get rid of Adam Warlock. Now look at this absolute beauty situation. And we have so many options here. This is crazy. So we have the Destroy Nico, which is perfect because we can destroy the Bast, draw, and then like, yes, we do this. We play Nico, right? We destroy Bast. We play the Ant-Man. And then we play Adam Warlock. It'll be beautiful. This is such a thing of beauty. I love it so much. This makes me so happy. Watch this absolute sensual gameplay. Everyone who does not believe in Adam Warlock is going to get thumped right now. Adam Warlock, the true Chad. The absolute true Chad. Oh man, that sucks. That's actually kind of sad, to be honest with you. Throne room's kind of risky, because like, can we even really get in there? But Caiera, we draw Caiera, we can access Throne Room, which is notable. I think we do this. There's the Echo. There's the Storm. Adam Warlock gonna draw some cards here. We really need Caiera to play into that location. It's Khazar. Is it too late for Khazar? I mean, Shauna will throw a card in there. But it's this hood that I'm worried about. The restrictions are intense. God, they've rock slided us. This is sad. Oh my gosh, so much emotional damage suffered here at the hands of these rocks. Our Adam Warlock drawing for no reason. Oh, there's Caiera. Look at this. Do I snap back? Caiera, Martyr, Rock gets buffed. We could Shauna to fill this location. They really don't like this Adam Warlock, apparently. We have initiative. Look at this. Come on, Caiera. Sticks the landing in Death's Domain. What a thing of beauty. That's okay. That's a one cost. It's getting buffed. Yeah, we don't lose. We don't lose to that. We do not lose to that. Oh my gosh. Do I just play these two rocks? Like a rock. Oh, like a rock. Let's go! Unbelievable! We get the dub! Yes! We snap into cloning vats here. We really need Caiera now. That's such a good infinite. It's such a good infinite. This is silly. Oh, I thought it was going to let me play it there. That's right. Caiera is never going to get drawn here because we need her so desperately. Caiera, please. Caiera, please. Black Knight Sif. Oh, they got the Scar gameplay going. Okay. All right. This, I believe, is fitting into a massive float. Did we already snap? We've already snapped. This is kind of silly. Of course, Caiera doesn't exist here, but they don't play Killmonger. I literally only have 1-drops on the board. Would be great. Caiera would be just something special here. But instead, we won't draw her, I guess. Because now we have to Infinite She-Hulk anyways. Is this our deck from yesterday? I think this is our deck. I think we're playing our deck. So we always skip here. This is beautiful. I don't want them to retreat. They will retreat because they're probably sad. Because they discarded their Infinite as well. This is our Black Knight deck. This is Scary Knight. This is Scary Knight. Doc Ock. What?
Hello. So happy.
Why you do that? This is my deck, by the way. Top deck Caiera. Nope. No Caiera. Bottom of the deck, which is fine, I guess. I mean, do I even play Hulk? No. It's just... My deck didn't have Killmonger in it anyways, but that was funny. Listen, I love the Doc Ock. I'm glad people are like embracing the list here. Isn't this so cool that we make a deck, we put it out there, then we actually face off against it? Just buy a Steam Deck. That would all do it for... Hey, listen, I've been wanting to get a Steam Deck for the longest time. The longest time I've wanted to get a Steam Deck. And I've not gotten it. And that's my fault. That's on me. That is on me. Oh. Bro. You're gonna wish you held that, bud. You're gonna wish you held that there, bud. Oh, come on. Why you do that? It's not nice. You snap on me for, bud. How can he snap? How can he snap? I think we're going full send here. We're gonna go full send here. We top deck. Oh, we actually can't put... Whoa, what? Titania? Ghost?
All systems go.
Titania's an 18 power swing. You've got to be kidding me for 8 cubes? Somehow this bot screws up this play? Just go 8 cubes against this bot? Just trust the bot's dumb? Okay. Bot throws the game?